What's up, everyone? Welcome to Plastic Cards Podcast, show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name's Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host, Gavaroni Jones. As you're jamming out, Gavin, how are you?
I'm good. It's Friday, right?
I guess it's Friday somewhere, as they always say, Gavin.
Lemon, it's Wednesday.
But yeah, how you been? Having a good weekend doing stuff?
Out to Portland. It is. I think it's been my first time there since all the protests.
Yeah, because we went, last summer? We were trying to skydive and it didn't work out with the weather, but we were there and like a bunch of stuff was closed. I remember that.
Right.
We tried to get pizza and it was impossible.
Yeah. So it's just different. You know, there's a lot more graffiti than I was kind of expecting. But aside from that, no, it was awesome. Always good to go to Portland.
I don't mind Portland. Megan always, she hates it. And she mentions it's just like a shittier version of Seattle.
I get that.
And
I mean, the streets are so much worse built.
And
like, I don't know who designed that. Was it just like a kid with a crayon?
Yeah.
And that's how they design those roads?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's fine. I like going there. They got the donut place.
And
good
old Voodoo.
They got homeless people, and it's a blast. But yeah, I like Portland.
Yeah, that was fun.
Noise. Did you get to play anything?
Oh, one thing I will say, I am disappointed every time I go to Portland. I'm like, I get recommendations. People are like, oh, check out this taco joint or this taco joint. We're so fucking spoiled in Yakima. We are so goddamn spoiled.
Yeah.
I'm paying $20 for these tacos that I'm told are the best.
You can't be doing that.
You can get $10 tacos, same amount, better.
Yeah, it's weird. And they have that whole, it's like a huge city block, maybe multiple blocks. It's like just food trucks there. And we always walk by. We never actually commit and get something there, but there's a ton of stuff there. I think at one point we got a burger that was really dope. It's like called Blue Box or some kind of burger spot, but it was a food truck. It was really good. But yeah, it's just cheaper here for a taco and they know what they're doing. So but you get a bunch of like eclectic food there, which we don't have in our town.
Right. Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Ooh, I tried not mochi. It's that tea with the little balls in it.
Oh, what the fuck is that called? Boba.
I tried that.
Boba.
First time. It was good.
Wait, is it good?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to try it, but also like that feels like it'd feel weird in my mouth. It
does. So you have to kind of get around it because like you're sucking up balls basically. And you have to like not choke and die.
Right.
But it's good.
That's the concern. I should probably tweet out the podcast. Where did you get them?
Megan got it for me and just brought it back home. But there's a place in town that does it. They're in West Valley by, it's like Nob Hill and 40th and Summit View. Anyways, they're over there. But they do boba.
Okay. I think is it the what
I think it's a newer place.
Kitchen?
I think so.
Okay.
Could be, or it's just in that same area, but they have a bunch of just stuff like ramen.
Their ramen is no, it's not ramen, it's pho. And it is just okay.
Okay.
I've tried several things from them now, and they are all
this one it had like a market. Megan showed me a video and they had a bunch of just weird knickknack stuff and like candies and they're playing like BTS in the background and it seemed cool.
We might be talking about two different things.
See, I think it is a different spot. It's like apparently a newer spot that opened, but
the place I'm talking about though has Korean hot dogs or corn dogs.
Oh, what is that again?
So they did it slightly wrong, even though in the picture they had it correct, but it's like put in breading. I want to say it's panko breading, but also there's fucking like chopped up potato bits in there.
Oh.
And that's delicious and lightly fried. And then it's very common to have the actual corn dog itself be one half hot dog and the other half mozzarella stick.
Yeah. You know, I just watched a TikTok of somebody making one of those and it looked dope.
They taste better than they look.
So there's a place in town that does that?
It was just okay. But if you get to Seattle, get you to Asian Town, and check out some real Korean. Oh, Lord. You'll see a line wrapped around the block. That's what they're waiting for.
Okay. Well, I'm not waiting for anything, but I do want to try. We have a comedy show or concert pretty soon in Seattle. So
I'm checking
it out. Yeah.
Who are you going out to see?
Testing. I think just testing the chat.
Queen Band.
But we're going to see this band called Under Oath. And there's another comedy show. Actually, last week, there was this huge thing popping off with this. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's called When We Were Young. It's a
Oh
tour.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like $1 bajillion for a ticket.
it is. Yeah, so it's like $300 is the just general admission, and I think it's even more to get like a cooler toilet area because like general admission is
What
like
does that mean?
well, general admission, if I remember correctly, was just like porta potties, and then you can pay more for like they call them air conditioned bathrooms, so like some kind of complex where you can walk in,
Oh, okay, okay,
and then it
okay.
goes up from there, and there's different packages. But yeah, it's crazy expensive. But there's like 60 bands playing, and they're all like these top, screamo emo bands from the 2000s,
Right.
and it's awesome. And like we were so Bubbles and Co. Megan says was the place that she went to for the boba. So Bubbles and Co. boba.
I think that's that is right in there, isn't it?
I think it
I
is.
didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a weird name. Never gave it a second thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we were like, it was more me trying to get tickets to this thing because I was
How?
very interested. We were just trying to like figure out like what do we sell? Do we not pay rent and just go to it?
I
Because
think you could sell a couple of nephews.
I could maybe the 3080 or something sell it, and then I'd be depressed. But
Yeah. How much is it a ticket for an actual ticket?
so it's $300 or $250. I forget.
I
It's
thought it was
around that range.
way more than that.
No,
Okay.
you can. That's like general admission, like standard.
Mhm.
But then you can build up upon that. But it's also in Vegas, so you have to get to Vegas for the show. It's not like a tour, like a national tour, but it's also a ton of awesome bands.
Right.
Although the week when they announced it, no one online was sure, is this legit? Because it just kind of came out of nowhere. A lot of the bands had retweeted the actual event, but there was
Mhm.
like not a lot of details on what was going on. Also, like the time frame, because it's 60 bands in one day.
Mhm.
And so it's like, how long are the sets? How are they going to work out? Is it like Warped Tour where there's a bunch of different stages?
Oh, they'd have to.
They'd have to. And they did reveal more info online, but like
Mhm.
closer to the time where you could actually buy tickets. But
Mm.
there's a lot of like, should we try and commit? We ended up not doing it, but
Mhm.
it is cool. It's a cool idea. They actually extended it. So it's like 3 days now instead of the 1 day,
Mhm.
just because, they were selling out. But yeah, it's cool. And I would really love to go, but it's just crazy expensive.
Gotta see that Avril Lavigne, dude.
I think she's there.
I think that's why I
Yeah,
brought it up.
it's
She
like
was the only
everybody.
out of all the names that popped, and I do recognize some of the names, but that was the first one I saw.
Not like My Chemical Romance or like the top one up there. There's a bunch of people, man.
Now you said you're seeing who this weekend? Under Oath.
Under Oath.
Now is that the one whose phrase is not a cult, or who am I thinking of? Is that them?
I don't think so. They don't really have a phrase.
Who is not a cult?
I can look it up.
Hmm.
And it's a emo screamo band.
Yeah.
Not a cult. Is Not a Cult Media, Staff Hoodie. It might just be like a clothing brand.
You might type band. Well, it's been a few different things.
Oh. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Who is
about.
this?
It's I can't think of their name.
Are they? I think they're the ones with the bird.
Yeah, they still tour. They're big.
Sorry, I point to. I'm thinking of my buddy's arm. Who had
Yeah,
a tattoo.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I forget their name,
Fuck.
but they're huge. But
Who
yeah.
is that?
Ooh, I cannot think of it. But
Yeah,
they're a band.
but you're hoping to kidnap. You're hoping to run some drugs across the border.
Yep.
Commit some armed robbery. Do whatever it takes
To get there.
to get there.
Yeah, it's most likely not on the cards, but or like My Chemical Romance, we have tickets for them to see that same month because it's like next October.
Oh, really?
So they're playing in Seattle next October,
Hmm.
which was originally they announced their tour because they were broken up for a long time. They came back together, announced this dope tour. We
Mhm.
got tickets luckily, and then that's right before COVID, and then COVID hit,
Mhm.
and they kept pushing it. We'll try next year. We'll try the year after that, and finally it's coming around to this year. Hopefully it
Mhm.
still sticks, but. The fact that there's a lot of these big bands
Mhm.
and they're all committing to this huge festival in Vegas, 6-8 months from now, I feel like they're counting on things turning around to where that can happen. But right now it seems that like you couldn't do something that size, that scale, but
Mhm.
maybe in October you could, hopefully.
We gotta keep trying. Like you can't not plan at this point.
Right. But
That's-
that happened and I wasn't able to get them. But other than that, I did jump into RE4 VR finally.
Wow. Okay, and you bought the darn thing
Yeah,
for that, didn't
I
you?
did.
And you
I did, and I just didn't have I wasn't in the right vibe to play it.
now. Real quick question before you dive into this, but
Mm-hmm.
I've had this conversation with so many people. RE4 is probably my most replayed to completion game of all time, and most people I've talked to about this also agree with themselves. have you played that one?
I played it once. It was when the pandemic was first popping off. We were all locked down. I was like, I'll play a game with zombies. And so I played that. I never played it before. So I used that as my excuse to play it, and I loved it. So this is really just my second playthrough.
Wow.
But I'm enjoying it a lot because you can move around. It's like the tank controls of that first one aren't the same anymore when you can quickly grab your knife, off your chest. You can just maneuver around and drop kick people easier. Megan also gave me shit because I bought it for that sole purpose of playing it, and it just sat on the shelf for a while.
Gotcha.
I really like it in VR because you have more range of movement. It just feels more fresh and funner to play. It's also not as scary when you can just kind of zip around.
I heard it was the opposite. I heard it was more scary.
And as I say that, until the chainsaw guys show up, then it's back to
That's
terrifying.
Immediately. That is in the first 5 minutes.
Well, when they throw one at you, it's like, fine, I can kind of pick them off from afar. Then they throw like 2 or 3 and a bunch of those people that are speaking Spanish to you. It gets crazy, nerve-wracking, but it's very fun. I like it.
Have you been doing, I see online people doing tricks. Have you been playing around with the tricks at all?
Yeah, I didn't realize you could do that. I had my nephew over.
Oh, really?
And I was watching his feed, like he cast it to the TV, and he's flipping the gun around and like the knife and doing these cool like John Wick moves. I'm like, I guess you can do that. I didn't realize. But yeah, he was doing it, and that showed me that was possible. I didn't see footage of it, but yeah, you can throw the gun around, and because also if you just kind of throw the gun to the ground, after like a second, it just snaps back to you. So you can just throw stuff around. So you can plan on also just like doing these tricks and combos and stuff.
See, that's, I think, I know VR is still kind of struggling to get traction. I think that's how we do it. Is you've seen, right? Like there have been like speedrun expos where you see people, the most interesting speedruns are people playing a game in the most interesting fucking way possible. Or like a Dark Souls no hit run or all these crazy things. We need these amazing John Wick runs where people are just doing tricks the whole fucking time. That's what I want to see. Give me that. That's
a lot in VR. There's another, I've just seen TikToks of it, but it's some kind of VR game. It might be. So Megan says, is people yelling at you in Spanish and throwing chainsaws remind you of your childhood? Is that why it's so scary? That's true. I need a chancla flipping around like a boomerang and then getting me in the head.
They'll mod it. If it hasn't been modded in yet, it will be.
I wonder if you can, because it's still locked to the Oculus.
They could do that for like the little scythe thing.
Oh, they could. Because they'll throw them at you and you can shoot them out of the sky. Yeah.
But they're Spanish, aren't they?
I think it is.
So I assume they're not doing the chocolate in Spain.
No,
Spanish.
maybe they don't. It's a cultural thing. Maybe they don't have it there. But
we'll reskin it.
We can mod it. We can make it, make it as racist as possible.
Is that racist?
As people are gonna fight, I'm sure.
Okay.
What can you do? But yeah, no, I'm digging it, and it's still scary, but it's funner to play because of that movement. You don't feel you just feel like more confident running around, and there's a ton of ammo too. It's like you could also use your knife to just pick people apart way more. I guess you can do that in the standard, but it just feels more comfortable grabbing my knife for any reason to just like pick people apart and not use my ammo.
Right.
But it's very cool.
I feel like that was the first Resident Evil game where you had legitimately too much ammo.
Yeah, they also throw a ton of enemies at you, so it kind of balances, and some of them require a ton of shots before they go down, like the chainsaw guys. Like they just eat up ammo, so they do balance it in a greatly done, well done way. But yeah, no, it's dope.
How's the suitcase? I know I can't remember how they changed the suitcase. How's that feel?
You can still upgrade it. It's kind of cumbersome to go into your menu the way they have it set up, just because it takes a little bit longer. There might be a button map I can find that goes right to my inventory, but no, it's all there. You can, when you talk to the merchant guy, the what are you buying, what are you selling guy, and you mod your gun, like you
stick
put
your hands inside his jacket.
You can. I didn't realize you can kill him.
I didn't either.
Yeah. So
does he just not show up from then on out?
There's some kind of thing that happens. I think you have to restart the level, but you can just like stab him if you want. But the way he will mod your weapons, you have to like set them on a table and you can see it in real time. You have to move stuff that you want to sell to a different platform. So they work in the VR stuff pretty well. And then there's the what's her face Ashley. She's still in it. I was hoping that they would just like remove her from the game, but she's still there. I think when I loaded, like I was playing today and I carried over from Aiden's save, I didn't realize. So when I put on the VR headset, I just turn around and she's right there.
Oh God,
in my face. So far, that's the scariest moment. Well, they have to
do that because the camera is so pulled in that if you want,
yeah, I just didn't realize she was standing behind me the whole time.
Get off my dick.
Yeah. She's very annoying still, but you get used to her. It was just like that first time.
Right.
I was not happy with dealing with her, but
How far are you?
I'm about a quarter of the way.
See, you say that, and that's I think another problem this game has too is like, oh, I'm like
It's a long game.
75% done. 8 hours later.
Yeah. The last sequence I played was
Mhm.
I have Ashley and we're going into like the main castle area. So I feel like that's the first fifth of the game ish because it does keep going from there on.
Right. And then you have like the mine chase.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
then-
haven't hit that yet.
I can't remember how far in the island is.
Oh, isn't that the very end? And you fight the dude who's like a
don't-
Navy SEAL. And he's like crazy hard to fight.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I'd be curious how the pacing pays off. I think that's its biggest achievement with the original is that perfect pacing that just sucks you through.
Yeah.
But
there's still rumors that they're working on the remake, and they have to be because they did 2 and 3 already. And I cannot wait. If they keep a lot of people are like, oh, this game doesn't need to be remade. It still looks great. It does. But if they can put that same engine, fresh coat of paint on it, it would just be, if they didn't change anything else but just did that, that'd be amazing. I'd still give my money to play it again. But
yeah, but they've
game.
even with the more recent ones, they've untanked the controls.
Yeah, they did.
So probably have to make some tweaks.
They will, and and I'm also ready for that too. But I think if for those purists that don't want them to mess with that at all, if they just did the engine revamp, I'd be fine with that. But the freedom of movement or that upgrade of movement, I'm down with that too. But I just can't wait to play it again. This is a game that just like Skyrim, you'll just keep buying it for decades.
Make it even more ridiculous, please.
I'm sure they will.
Did you play anything else?
That was really
any of that new Fortnite weather thingy-majig?
I have no idea what's going on. I know they added Tilted Towers again. That was like a original thing that happened in like the first season, and they brought it back.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
That's where all the streamers were dropping.
Yeah.
So of course they all look the same.
Well, I did jump into. I finally got when I got the 3080. I bought God of War on PC. Found it for like $40 online.
Yeah.
It's crazy beautiful. Loving it. I was playing on my PS5, replaying it as you were jumping into the PC version, and jumped into the PC version as well. And yeah, it's just such a great game.
When you're playing it on the new revamped system, is this how you remember it on the last gen system? In your head?
I mean, it looks. I guess I just noticed the animations and some of the particle effects just look a bit more. Just visually different, like upgraded. Maybe it's just a frame rate thing too, because I'm also pushing past 60, but it just everything looks better.
Right.
But it's still the PS4 like basic version was still amazing. So it's like it looks better, but it's also not, nothing to shrug your shoulder at with the original version. Still look great. But it's just seeing it locked at 60 with all the features turned up, it just looks awesome. And then you have that DLSS stuff that helps you get higher frame rates and balances the whole texture stuff in addition to whatever like GPU you have. So like helps you get even better performance out of it. So it's really, really great. Yeah, Leon. It's constantly screaming, what's her face? Ashley in the background. But have you jumped into God of War PC any further?
I can't remember if I've talked about it since our last podcast. Didn't we skip a day? Or skip last week?
No, we met last week. We met right before the Activision news.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't jumped. I really haven't been playing I think much.
Yeah, I haven't been in the same vibe either. I tried various games on the 3080 that I just got, but other than that, I'd play like snippets of stuff. Like what's that Russian snow game with the zombies? Oh man. I'm blanking on it, but it's like a showcase for ray tracing with the train. You got the snow, Metro.
Yeah.
Exodus. Yeah. I had that. And so I just loaded on the 3080 and it's just fucking amazing.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I love that for some reason that game does something integrated with the RGB in my computer where it will reflect whatever's happening in the game. The lighting will do that.
Really?
But it's some kind of stock thing. Like I don't have to mess with any settings. It just does that automatically. And it's really cool. So like you turn off all the lights and you just have this reacting to whatever the light is in the game, or when you die, it goes red and whatnot. Like it's really cool.
Dude, that's awesome. I think there are kits you can sell that'll do like RBGs on the side of your monitors and they'll project like if you have a wall behind it.
I have seen that.
I've thought about getting because I don't think they're very expensive.
No, it's just like RGB lighting. Do you remember Xbox had a concept thing that they never went forward with.
Yeah,
But
because
it
it
was a
was
projector
too
deal.
much. There was no way that thing would work.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't it? It's just a projector that's mimicking whatever colors that are happening on your game. So it has like an HDMI in that's just projecting lights.
I thought it projected in like a 360-degree
Maybe.
thingy.
I thought it was meant to like expand past your monitor or your TV to just
Right.
add various lighting stuff that's happening in game.
That'd
I
be
thought it was a
cool.
cool idea, but they just kind of said it works and they just put it on the back burner.
Oh,
But
maybe I misremember this thing then.
hmm.
That's interesting. I did play a little bit. I saw Paparazzi
Oh, I want to try that. Yeah, on Game
released
Pass.
on literally everything. I almost want to wait till you play it to give my opinion on it.
Really?
But I
I'm not
do love.
expecting the world with it. It just seems like a fun little jump in, take some pictures of pups.
Yeah, but I part of the reason I wanted to go for it is I was like, let me get something short in.
Yeah.
What's like mainly I was looking for what in my back catalog can I beat before Dying Light 2 comes out, because we don't have much time. I've never seen my shadow before. Am I a camera with legs? Back up a tiny bit.
Well, maybe it's this is because it's from August, this trailer, so maybe they fix that. But
I don't think I've seen my shadow though.
it's Benji Sales. There we go. Nope, I'm
What
way behind.
is happening?
Corey Barlog. There we go. So where'd you see your shadow?
All right, here he's gonna walk forward.
Yeah, you're just a camera with like, maybe is that written into the game or was that removed?
I don't know that I've seen a shadow yet.
Okay, a shadow?
I don't know.
Like there's no shadows in the game?
I haven't noticed. Well, maybe.
Okay.
It's so I don't know. The graphics are very, very, very simplistic
Yeah.
and it's like running on. I think my card it defaulted to 4K, even though I'm running on a 1440p monitor. Um. Oh, you can ride a skateboard?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I want to figure out how to ride a skateboard. I was even at that part too. I didn't
So
try
you're
that.
mad there's like what? No shadows or ray tracing? Like what are your
Oh, I don't care about
problems
that.
with it?
I thought it was cool that it was just like, hey, you got too much power. We're gonna start you at 4K regardless of your monitor.
I see.
But yeah, it's all right. I wish it were a little more freeform than it is.
I see. It looks cute as hell.
And there's like this. I think the thing I didn't like is like you upload your picture to this like Facebook, and you're trying to get followers, but if you do too many per day, like this person is just like, stop posting so many pictures. Like, I'm here to take pictures of dogs
Yeah.
and have a good time. Get off my dick.
So there's a limit to these dog pics you can post.
Yeah, but you can take as many as you want. You just can't post them. But how else do you get followers? Well, you do I don't know. It's weird.
Interesting.
It's kind of cute. Give it a shot.
Yeah, I just want to go around and take pictures of dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I wish it locked the cursor properly when you're in a menu, because then like I'll move my cursor and then I get out of the menu and my camera just whips around.
Well, take it easy. It's just you're just taking pictures of pups. I don't know what you're trying to break down here. Okay, just give them a break.
Yeah,
but I do want to play this
and probably more grounded.
You want to play more grounded, or you want this to be grounded?
Playing more grounded.
Oh, gotcha.
So
I see. Yeah, I have no desire to jump back to that game, but I dig that people like it.
Uh-huh.
But you mentioned, Dying Light 2 is coming out soon.
Yeah.
What's the actual date on that? I know it's like very, very soon.
You told me 2 weeks, and that was a couple days ago. Now, here's the question, though. In that time, I think I have enough time, if I work hard every night, do I beat God of War, or do I beat Guardians of the Galaxy?
Man, you got a good backlog going.
I know. I have about this. I probably have about 14 hours left of each.
I wouldn't stress on like finishing some of these. I mean, that's just how I do it. Because otherwise, you can always go back to like Guardians of the Galaxy. With God of War, there's a lot of gameplay there, so you're going to be playing that for a while. So February 4th is when Dying Light 2 comes out. So you've got at least another solid week before it comes out. So maybe just like if you sink into God of War for this next week, you'll have it finished by the time Dying Light comes out. I think you're a good 6-ish hours from the end of Guardians. So it's like a weekend. You could whip that out. But it depends on what vibe you're in and what you want to finish. But
I did look at how long it would take to beat Dying Light 1. I think it was like 34 hours or something.
Just like main campaign
Main
stuff.
campaign
Yeah.
only. I think plus extras is like 100. And then if you look at like their DLCs,
Oh,
DLCs are like 9 hours each.
yeah. It's like GTA Online level of content. Like it's
Yeah.
just endless. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about trying to 100% all that stuff. I don't know if this takes place story-wise, what this has to do with the first Dying Light. Because I played Dying Light when it came out like 6-7 years ago.
Right.
I remember there's zombies, you're a dude, try find cure. I don't think it works out. Bam, it's done. But it was very fun. So I'm not really going in expecting to remember anything. And hopefully they kind of don't make it so you have to remember these characters. It seems like it's a new story. I don't know. But zombies are still involved. But I can't wait for this. Although for me, so this one is up your alley. It's going to be on PC.
Right.
My next big one after this is Horizon Forbidden West, which is, I think, still closer to the middle of the month.
Yeah,
so I have some time with Dying Light. No, Dying Light 2 is after, or Horizon is after Dying Light. So that's coming out soon after that. But I'll have some time to play some Dying Light 2 and then jump into Horizon.
Then Elden Ring, in case
that's at the end of the month. Yeah.
Want to break out the penis flattener?
I do not. I've learned my lesson. I think people are going to have a blast with it. But I did see something in the news about them with Elden Ring that they haven't brought down the difficulty, but they've played around with managing player stress in some way. So there's that. So I hear little bits of that.
Just ride the fuck off if you want. Go
possibly
find something else to do.
But then you have to, fight these people eventually. But there's little bits like that that make me think, oh, maybe I can approach this, but I have to just remember, like, these games aren't for me, as dope as they are. It was the same situation with Demon Souls Remake. There's a class that's like the Royal class that lets you throw magic more frequently. Like, I think it auto-generates faster than another class.
Okay.
And a lot of reviewers and outlets online were saying, like, maybe you could use that as your approachable class. So I was like, bet, I'll do that. And I tried it, and it's still super duper hard. So these games are just too hard for me. But I've learned my lesson. Maybe if it's on sale in a couple of years, we'll see. But
packed month. I'm still shocked that Horizon hasn't been delayed at all.
I think it's ready to go. Yeah. I'm not so worried about being delayed.
Right.
It was already pushed to this year, but I think they're trying to nail last year. But it looks like it's ready to go. It hasn't gone gold officially yet, but I think they'll be closer to the actual date. But February 18th. There was a review, or not a review, but a preview from IGN. They got to play 4 hours of it, and they had nothing but high praise to say about it.
Another one coming out here soon that I'm getting more excited because people who have played it want to play more is Sifu.
Sifu is this month. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll play it. I'll probably just watch other people play it. But
I think it's on PC as well, right?
Yeah.
So February 8th. So that's the week after Dying Light 2. But yeah, I love the mechanic where you die. I mean, just like a roguelike or whatever, but you get older, your character ages, and you kind of have to manage that. But you also seem to get slightly more powerful, but then you still have a limit on how many times you can die. It's a cool idea. But then I go back to other roguelikes, which I hate. So I'm wondering if I'll be able to play this or not. But I'm really interested to see what the reviews say on it.
Yeah. Something I saw up there that, man, it just came and went was Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yeah, that was on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I tried it for maybe 20 minutes. And it's just not for me. Like, I knew that going in that I wasn't going to be able to commit a bunch of time to it, but it's there. I didn't like how it controls, and the zombies look very plain to me and not interesting at all. But we mentioned, like, I think I was texting you, like, there was kind of mixed reviews and impressions on it. But do you think you'll try that? It's on Game Pass, so really you can just download it and try it.
Maybe.
Even then, still, like, I don't know.
It's like it was neat watching. Like, there's a Rainbow Six Siege streamer that I watched him play it, and he was at least impressed by like how fucking hard it was.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was playing it alone. I don't know if it really, excels when you have a team of people with you. It's just like the gameplay. These types of games just don't call out to me. So I just know that going in.
I wish I could remember. I know there's one more game coming out that we've seen suspiciously little of.
Little of.
I can't remember what it is.
Is it a PC console?
It is a video game, and that is all I have.
Oh, great. That's a lot of information I can use, because we can deduce it to figure out what it is. But what do you think? Any other info?
I'm not.
Is it a shooter? Is it a platformer?
We should probably get into the news.
God damn. And now it's a game I want to be able to figure out and use my brain to figure it out. Come
I
on.
don't think it was Horizon, because Horizon we've seen shockingly little of, which
I
I
don't
think is
know. There was a
odd.
good amount of gameplay that they've shown, especially the IGN preview that just came out. They showed a lot of
Oh,
gameplay there.
I haven't seen
They've
that.
been showing some good amount of content of it. So I don't know if it's that, but do you think maybe it was that one, or was it like first person or card based or?
I'm gonna say it was that one, so we can move on.
Gotcha. Okay, I hear you. I hear what you're putting down. Well, again, we can jump into some news. There was the huge Mamba Jamma news that came out last week, right after we
Right.
recorded, was the information about Microsoft acquiring Activision. So here's just some details on it, and we can talk more about it. So Microsoft is set to acquire Activision-Blizzard for $68.7 billion. Microsoft announced plans to acquire Activision-Blizzard for $68.7 billion in an all-cash transaction. When the transaction closes in 2023, Microsoft will become the world's third largest gaming company by revenue, behind Tencent and Sony. The planned acquisition includes iconic franchises from Activision, Blizzard, and King Studios like Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Candy Crush. The company has studios around the world with nearly 10,000 employees. So this popped off on a Tuesday morning last week. It was huge. What did you think initially on, what were your takes on hearing this news?
It was so big I didn't even have a take. Like, I didn't fully wrap my brain around it.
Sure.
It, to me, it wasn't as exciting as Bethesda. I feel like there's a lot more promise of stuff I want with Bethesda, but it's neat. Call of Duty in their court is very cool, even though they said that they're going to share Call of Duty.
Care Duty. And there's some details on that too that were announced today as well.
Yeah, and Blizzard, that's sort of a weird one, and they have an announcement today. Are you covering that one?
On the new game? Yep.
Right. I just didn't know what to think. What how did you feel about it?
I was sort of in the same boat where, much like with Bethesda, so Xbox they're on this hunt to provide the game content that people have wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that steadily by acquiring these smaller studios. You have like Ninja Theory, and then eventually you get to Bethesda, and that was a huge get. And that one I was still like, good on Xbox. They're doing their thing. They're actually, trying to compete with PlayStation, how they have all these different exclusive, awesome studios.
Right.
But then when they get to Activision Blizzard, that was such a huge acquisition, not just for the price point, but for what they're getting.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, maybe pump your brakes a little bit, because that's like a huge portion of the gaming industry. I mean,
Yeah.
Call of Duty, they take a lot of the limelight, but because they're massive, that's a massive game that releases every year and it's always top 10. But you have WoW in there, Overwatch is huge. Activision in general with Blizzard, that all those together are just so, and it's all third party.
Right.
So it's this weird, like, is this too much? I don't know if I fully think that, because it seems like Xbox is willing to somewhat play with PlayStation and keep these things third party to a certain extent, but I don't also expect these games are going to stay third party forever. I think there's a reason why you spend that much money to acquire them.
Right. We'll see what does, what doesn't. They have potentially Tony Hawk is back in the cards now.
Yes. Yeah, they've been talking to Phil Spencer. He said that he does. They haven't confirmed anything because the deal's still working. They're still working on it, so it could fall through. It doesn't seem likely, but they've said they have a desire for these studios to work on these older franchises and bring stuff back to life. They haven't mentioned anything in detail, but potentially, yeah, Tony Hawk, because that was a studio. Was it Toys for Bob that worked on it? They were shuttered by Activision to go back and work on Call of Duty, and they just kind of got rid of that studio. And they just absorbed them to go work on Call of Duty like full force.
Wasn't the one that remade the most recent remake? Aren't they over at Blizzard somewhere?
It was I want to say it was COD. They absorbed them into work on either Warzone, Call of Duty, that kind of thing.
I'm fairly certain they had them work on the new Diablo 2 remake.
It's possible. It's definitely possible. I know for sure they were splintered away from working on Tony Hawk's, which is a huge bummer.
Right.
Especially after they provided like one of the best Tony Hawk's in a while. After that franchise has been like just going downhill. No pun intended, but to have them now, potentially they could work on that kind of stuff. And it seems like Xbox wants them to then go and work on all these properties that they have let die.
Right.
And that's actually a super dope aspect to this thing. All these cool games we can get. Xbox now owns Crash. They can spend time with Crash, Spyro.
Spyro.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Activision has to have Spyro.
Yeah, they did. At some point they bought the rights to them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think someone pointed out with those, and then Microsoft still owns Banjo. Let's have a platform brawler.
Yeah, now's the time they could absolutely do it. You can have Master Chief in there. You can have the dudes
Yeah.
from Gears of War. You can have Doom Guy, and also these different characters like Crash and Spyro.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun as
It's
hell.
yeah, I like that. There's parts of the deal that I do enjoy because for the very least that there's all these properties that we've wanted Activision Blizzard to spend time with that they haven't.
Mhm.
Now it's possible. I think the whole issue with Activision running Call of Duty and that being their main cash cow
Mhm.
forces them to produce this game every year and put all hands on deck on it because that's how they survive. But now they don't have to follow that same mantra
Right.
because they're absorbed into this huge company that doesn't need to. They have all the studios now, so they don't have to lean on one
Right.
providing their bread maker. They can do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But do you have any negative thoughts on this? Because this has torn people where it's like, aside from the whole PlayStation not getting these games anymore
Right.
possibility, do you think this is like, do you see this as a monopoly, whether it's legal or not? I'm sure it is legal. But do you see this as too much of an acquisition from a big company like Microsoft?
I mean, if it's too much of a monopoly, the government, I mean, that's probably part of the reason why it's going to take a year is they're going to have to go through. And that's,
Yeah.
I think, what they did with the last
I think
thing.
it will, but you're right. They have the best lawyers and stuff. Someone had brought up if just in the fees and whatever is involved with acquiring something, if it does fall through, they'd have to spend 2 point something billion dollars on the whole thing just if it falls through. So it's like that's a lot of money to go willy
Right.
nilly into it. I think they're dotting all their T's, crossing their I's all the way around to make sure that they're not going to lose that 2 point whatever billion and make sure this deal goes through.
I mean, it's a weird time. It'd be weirder if Sony starts to start doing this, and then you got little Nintendo sitting in the middle, like, please.
I don't think Nintendo gives a
They
shit. They
probably
just
don't.
keep doing their thing.
They make games. They make their own games for their own damn console.
Yeah, and they sell hand over fist, like, they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But that does bring up, people online thinking, does Sony need to have a quote unquote response? Do they then need to acquire something big? Do they keep doing what they're doing? Does Sony need to do anything at all in response to this?
I don't know. I hope the workplace culture improves.
That's another big side of this as well.
It's my big hope. But
Yeah. And that's a possibility is that with Xbox taking over, they can get rid of some of these terrible people involved with Activision and Blizzard.
right.
There's a main dude at Activision that he seems like he's going to stick on for at least this next year as they transition, and then he's out of the door. So that is a great part of this is that they can kind of control what's going on and actually clean house. And although there are problems now, they absorb them too. So it's like they have to know what they're doing.
Right.
But yeah, it's incredibly nuts. One of the things I've seen online as far as like, should Sony make any kind of response? And they mentioned how Bungie is out there. They're no longer tied to Activision. How crazy would it be for Sony to then go, okay, cool. If Activision or if Bungie is interested to go, okay, we'll acquire them now, like a weird passing of ships where they take over the studio that made their biggest franchise, which is Halo,
Right.
taking over Bungie, making it a Sony property.
Be interesting. Yeah.
Now, Sony also has their, we talked about it last time, their rumored subscription service that's supposed to compete with Game Pass. Do you think they change that at all, knowing that a lot of these games are going to go now to Xbox? Do they try and sweeten that deal at all? Because right now, all they have so far is backwards compatibility that's still not confirmed. And then these games from
Right.
PlayStation that could be in that service. Do you think they change that up at all?
I mean, they're really gonna have to catch up because at this point, if you have Game Pass, you can, like, let's say you had it before, you can be paying for your new next gen Xbox, right, or current gen Xbox with Game Pass.
Mhm.
You're essentially leasing to buy. You can play on the cloud on your phone. You can play current gen games on your last gen console. You can do all this crazy stuff on top of just free games.
Right.
It's so much that they have to catch up on.
Yeah, it's interesting. So with Game Pass, that brings up the point of a lot of these games are now first party. So does Call of Duty go to Game Pass day one, like all the other properties have done, or stuff like Overwatch? Is that now
Does
Game
Call of
Pass
Duty go to Game Pass day one?
instead of having their $60, $70 release? Is it just now on Game Pass?
It's a good question. Man, this next E3, if we have a proper E3,
We're not, at least as far as E3 goes. Like they already said that they're not going to do it, but Xbox has taken the mantle at least last couple of years, where they have a lot to show. And now they especially have a lot to show because they own so much of the industry now.
We've been seeing Microsoft buying up all these and for amazing amounts of money, but all these good Western RPG houses.
Yeah.
There's not much left. Sony, buy CD Projekt Red right now. That's the move. Yeah, Cyberpunk went bad. It could have gone worse. Like,
Yeah,
they can still make that. Who's left to make Western RPGs?
good point. I mean, I guess Rockstar does RPGs technically with Red Dead and GTA.
Dying Light will, in theory, be one, but
Sure.
isn't that owned by 2K?
I want to say it's a lot. There's a lot of French influence in there, but I don't know. As far as it's a good point with Western RPGs that aren't already owned by Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. CD Projekt Red would be a huge move. I just don't know if they're even interested. That's a lot of the aspect of this is like who wants to get bought out. Apparently,
Right.
Activision was seeking out various people to buy them out,
Mm.
and so what's been revealed was as far as the Microsoft acquisition that started in November, that they had these talks. Apparently, Microsoft decided not to go with it. Activision came back again with a different offer, and they made it work. And they worked through the holiday season to get it done as fast as they did.
The thing I'd love to see, can we look up, remember when there were rumors of WB looking to sell and they put out some ridiculous number? Is this more than that number?
Interesting, because I think they stopped that, right? So Warner Bros. Is selling its Playdemic mobile games. That's a different thing. So they're owned by AT&T. Yeah, I don't have any concrete data ready to go.
I don't know how we'd find the old type, like WB Games.
Okay, so this is saying this is
okay.
from Video Games Chronicle. It was said to be hoping to generate around $4 billion from potential sale to pay off some of its substantial debt. So $4 billion for all of WB games.
That's very light compared to this.
Compared to this, I mean, we're still talking about billions, but yeah, compared to that, it's pretty easy.
It's crazy how much more they paid for this than Bethesda. And I didn't see too many games in that list that super excited me, but I'm sure there's stuff I'm not thinking about.
With this deal or the Bethesda deal?
With this deal compared to the Bethesda deal.
I think you have to consider just the amount of revenue these games that are big generate. Like Warcraft is huge, Overwatch is huge, and Call of Duty. I feel like those are those top three that just keep generating every year.
Right. But my concern is so many of like the top really good developers at these, especially at Blizzard, have left over the years, that the soul of that company is kind of gone now, and they're kind of just moving on with the name that got them all that goodwill.
That's true, although they still own the rights to all these properties. So maybe with a new change of hands, you get people that have left or that now are interested in working again with this new change of how they run things. If they end up changing how they run things, that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Could we use cloud technology with Xbox and World of Warcraft, combine that with World of Warcraft to have an extra MMO?
We're just streaming
really massive, Titanic multiplayer online RPG.
In theory, now you could, because they can use all that tech and kind of combine it all into one thing. So there's some other details here we can talk about with this deal. So as far as the future of Activision-Blizzard games on PlayStation, so there's a tweet from Phil Spencer later in the week. So this dropped on Tuesday. By Thursday, Phil Spencer had some details. He has a tweet here. He says, had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision-Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry, and we value our relationship. It's still kind of concrete that they have that. They want to keep that relationship, but it's also vague where it's how long is this thing going to keep going? They want to keep that relationship, but how long do they keep these games on PlayStation? I wonder if they still have to generate. I mean, they spent basically $70 billion.
Right.
They have to still make that nut back and generate some income. So why not keep these games third party indefinitely to still generate the income that they would need?
I'd be curious. I'm sure there's somebody super smart crunching those numbers.
Yeah, you have
around the clock for all this stuff.
I feel like you could do it where these games are Game Pass day one to sweeten the deal for Game Pass, or they're on PlayStation, but you have to spend the $60-$70.
Is this how we bring Game Pass to PlayStation? That would be fucking nuts.
That's a big question people are having too, and I was going to bring that up with you. Do you think that's possible now? I think it would
I say
be.
yes.
I'm sure Microsoft is super gung ho on it because that means more subscribers. They get to infiltrate that PlayStation infrastructure. But do you think PlayStation would be interested in that?
I think PlayStation would hate to do it. I think the potential's there now.
But if it means they can get these games somewhat on PlayStation,
Right.
I think they might make that deal. Although, and I've been thinking about this, where if they do make that deal, that ends up benefiting Sony because then you can say all you need is a PS5 because you can get Game Pass on here and play Sony games. It's like they could spin that. I don't know how they would publicly spin that,
but it
it's like
benefits Microsoft more.
sure, because Microsoft's their whole goal, it seems lately, is Game Pass subscribers.
Yeah.
They don't care if you stream it like you're saying, you're playing on your phone, your PC, your Xbox, or on a PlayStation. They just want the subscribers.
And you think about how closer we're getting to this closer knit community with like crossplay has been all over this generation. Thank God. And now because of that, these little bitty indie games that never would have stood a chance online are now killing it.
Sure.
Fall Guys, without crossplay, that's insane. Fortnite, like it's such a big deal.
Yep.
And if you're already throwing the Game Pass on there, that's less barriers for everything. And if we can throw the xCloud on the Switch, Microsoft's won the whole fucking game.
That's a rumor that kind of has been forgotten about. But I remember when we started the show, that was a big rumor that was thrown around that said Game Pass is coming to Switch. And now more people are talking about could it come to PlayStation, but that's still is that in the mix? Do they talk to them? Does Nintendo go, what's the internet? And they don't have idea what's going on.
They've always been doing that.
But that'd be a great deal too to get those games there. You have to, I would say you'd have to stream them all. Like you can depend on the hardware to run it. Maybe some games.
I think. Oh, with the Switch, yeah.
Yeah, with the Switch.
Yeah. I feel like with them, you mentioned the internet. I feel like my eShop game should come in the mail in like an old Game Pass envelope.
They still send out the Netflix discs, I think, through Nintendo.
Game Pass can't still exist, can it?
I don't think it can. Okay. No. So there's some further details that dropped today about at least the Call of Duty aspect of things. So this is from Tom Henderson, who works for The Verge. Bloomberg has reported that Activision will publish the next 3 Call of Duty titles on PlayStation. So they've confirmed that just recently. So Modern Warfare 2 is that remake it's not a remake, it's a sequel to the Modern Warfare that came out in 2018, I want to say. That's coming out this year. That's going to be on PlayStation. Treyarch's title, which is they pass the dev back and forth. Right. Treyarch's Call of Duty is coming out in 2023, also on PlayStation. And then Warzone 2 is coming to PlayStation. Warzone 2 is apparently some revamp of Warzone that's going to be on current gen, next gen consoles. Oh. So those 3 properties are at least confirmed for PlayStation. After that, it's up in the air. But that's their whatever deals PlayStation made with Activision, it just confirms those 3. And then after that, that deal is done.
Man, I thought they were done buying people for a while.
I think after this, for sure, right? Because I think maybe some indie stuff you can throw in there, some smaller properties or smaller studios, but you can't make a huge juggernaut purchase like this and then keep making purchases. Because then I think you start to get the attention of government properties going, okay, is this some sort of monopoly thing going on? But I think as long as they fly under the radar for a little bit after this, they'll probably be fine.
Or buy CD Projekt Red.
PlayStation?
WB, buy PlayStation. CD Projekt Red, WB, and then stop.
Do you have any issues with if we were to imagine 5 years from now, Xbox keeps going on this mission and PlayStation in turn keeps going on that mission of acquiring these stuff, making it sole for their console, we start to lose these big third parties. Do you see that as a negative going forward?
So far, it's really just given more support to these people. Like Tim Schafer, they've basically written him a blank check.
Yeah.
And said, please be as Tim Schafer as you can. Or like Senua Sacrifice people. These people are indieing the fuck out of this, even though they're not indie anymore. That's not the way that term works. But
sure,
some of these people are really throwing their passion behind this, and hopefully that's
Well, as far as the gamer's perspective, is there any future doom with having these huge companies kind of buy up everything, where it's like if you do end up buying whatever console, seems like you're way more restricted to what they offer in the past?
Are we really going to live that long that we have to worry about it?
True. You're right. I say let it ride. Let's have fun while we're still here.
Yeah.
But it's a lot, man. It's a lot, and it's just happening still. So the deal isn't set to really go through until 2023. So we got a lot of time to figure this out. But you mentioned E3, yeah. Whatever Xbox does this E3 season is going to be nuts.
I think they're gonna have to pack in the trailers like an episode of Robot Chicken.
We're just go for it.
Yeah.
Do you think they can use this E3 because that deal isn't set, but can they already start to make announcements and stuff, or do they have to wait until next E3 when it's actually finalized?
I think it would depend on how set in stone this thing is, and they probably have an idea.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Interesting. But it's lit the internet on fire. We're still dealing with it, but yeah, it's going on.
Oh boy,
It's huge. Let's talk about this Pal World game.
Now, when it said Pal World, I was thinking of that really weird game they keep showing at conventions. Like they did it at the Game Awards where they like had a dance video. It's like diggy dig diggy diggy. Like I'm like, not this fucking thing again.
What game?
I don't know. It's like Pokemon. I want to say set in like Japan, but you're skateboarding and rollerblading, and you're like these weird.
Oh, it's a different one. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like a photorealistic
Yep.
world with these weird kids, and I was like, get this off my screen.
So there's that one that still exists, and then this one is its own thing.
Just inject this one into my veins.
This one seems more, as I watch footage, at least the second new trailer we're talking about, it's more like Fortnite and Pokemon now combined.
Right. The gameplay itself actually looks pretty bad, but I am willing to play it.
It's pretty stunning though.
Yeah. Looks great.
I don't know what engine they're using. If it's, I mean, that's a clearly a knockoff Pokemon.
It's I pray, I would love it so much if this game was actually self-aware.
I don't think it will be, but that'd be dope. If they inject some like Deadpool-esque stuff to it, where they're making fun.
This is like a 7-year-old's fever dream.
Oh, 100%.
But like, look at this. You're just like shooting. They just disappear. They pop up into the air.
Yeah.
I like the ending shot of this. Yeah, like you have
the torture scene.
That's what it looks like. So that's
games?
why I was thinking, is this fucking self-aware? Yeah, these things.
God.
Yeah, slave labor making the. Have you seen this trailer yet?
No.
It ends on a weird note too.
What? Is it Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, that's how it ends. Oh, okay. There's more. Apparently,
It looks really pretty.
Okay, you hit the chicken to shoot at the egg. That's how it ended on Twitter.
Oh God.
No,
this is wild.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, I don't know if this is a Chinese property, but it reminds me of in China where they don't have any copyright rules. So they can just steal from whatever they want. It just reminds me of that. They're just taking from whatever properties and just making it work.
My guess is Korean. There's a lot of Korean games that look like this. Can you look up Pocket Pair?
Pocket Pair.
That's totally going to pull up testicles.
Well, it shows that I already searched it, apparently. Pocket Pair. Pocket Pair game?
Yeah, game company. Here.
Is that the dev for this?
Yeah.
Pocket Pair is Japanese video game
Over
developer.
Dungeon, which I feel like I've heard of. Oh, they are Japanese.
So Japanese, okay. I wonder, what their idea is behind this, where some of the people working on this, they're fully aware that they're just ripping stuff off. They're cool with it. But if you rip enough stuff off to make this totally weird thing, then it becomes its own thing at a certain point.
I just hope it's self-aware. That would be such a fun.
Yeah.
Like if reviewers are just like, don't watch reviews, just go play. See this weird shit for yourself.
This would make more sense as like a free-to-play kind of thing, getting everyone in there right off the bat. But
does it? We don't even know what fucking genre it is.
No, not at all. But I just feel like you'd get so many people in there if it was free-to-play.
Yeah.
Rather than charging per entry. But yeah, no, it's weird.
Big fan of Craftopia, apparently.
But I'm down for it. I want to see what this game looks like when it actually comes out.
Well, prayers will be answered when that.
But yeah, that came out.
Star Wars.
Yeah, so there's some news on that as well. EA confirms 3 new Star Wars games in development at Respawn. It's from Eurogamer. One is the expected follow-up to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Sweet.
With game director Stig Asmussen at the helm. So there's also a rumor that they're going to show this off very soon, at least some kind of teaser announcement. Another team at Respawn is working on a Star Wars first-person shooter with former LucasArts VP of Development and executive producer on the original Star Wars Battlefront games, Peter Hirschman, installed as game director. So tied with this, there's a third announcement as well. People are very angry or vocal that is Titanfall just kind of, they're going to let it fly by the wayside and just not keep that property going, because Titanfall 2 was so dope. But and
Yeah.
you see this first person shooter that Respawn's working on that's Star Wars related, so maybe there's no time they can spend on bringing back Titanfall.
In theory, the Star Wars people could show up on the Titanfall planet.
I wonder. Although Disney is still Star Wars, are they going to want to mix the properties together and not have their full control over, whatever their entry is? And would they be cool with mixing the stuff in there?
I doubt it.
Right. But it could be cool. That's a way to bring back Titanfall, and I'm just hoping that there's still plans in the mix at some point from now on to bring back Titanfall, because that campaign was some of the best first-person campaign gameplay I played in a long time.
Really solid.
Have you jumped into Jedi Fallen Order? You
No.
can find it on sale now. It's on PC. It's a great game. It's really, really
I
cool.
would consider it.
Yeah.
But I just have too much on my backlog that's way above this.
Now it's not the time, but when it came out, it was really cool. It runs great on PC. I bought it again on PC for like $20. I think it was Epic had a sale, and yeah, great game.
The thing that interests me is people say it's Dark Souls like, and if you're watching it and haven't played a Dark Souls game and definitely haven't played this, like I'm like, I don't know what the fuck any of you are talking about.
Well, I can get the vibe they're saying, because the way you kind of deal with combat and is it parrying, whatever it is, where you kind of have to block stuff, parry, but where you
throwing too much
the soda drink
on that.
There's a soda drink that you do that, but yeah, there's that aspect to it. There's a timing of your attacks and blocking, so I can see what they mean, but it is very light to where it's not like super deep like something like a Demon Souls or Dark Souls.
Right.
But for me, I could jump in and still have fun with it. So, but yeah. So the third announcement from EA was so finally Respawn is working on a Star Wars strategy game via publishing collaboration with Bit Reactor, the recently founded Maryland-based studio made up of veterans of XCOM and Civilization developer Firaxis Games.
Okay.
So 3 Star Wars projects that are in the mix from EA.
Again, a Star Wars strategy game, that could be neat.
Could be cool. If they throw cards in, I think you're in day one, right?
They should make a Star Wars Total War.
Ooh, interesting.
It might be tricky because the continents and the territories have to be right next to each other with planets. That's probably too hard. Yeah,
I'm sure they could find a Star Wars planet where that happens. I don't know much about, the terrain and all that stuff, but then you have that Cloud City stuff going on too.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. But yeah, they're doubling down on Star Wars and committing to making some dope games. I think give it all to Respawn because they know what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
But in this mix was also, I guess, EA's pretty disappointed with the reception, and also how Battlefield is doing in the news recently. So that's some point of contention where fans and everyone else seems to not be happy with Battlefield. But yeah, you haven't jumped in recently, have you?
No,
because you were like super crunk.
I bought the damn thing.
Yeah.
I loved the test.
Gotcha. Well, apparently
I should play it, but I have too much other stuff to play. I think when it came out, wasn't I balls deep in Deathloop?
You might have been. It was a while ago, at least with that test run, and the game finally came out. There's apparently a zombies mode that came out recently that people, I guess they had to pull like quickly because it was super imbalanced.
That sucks.
But yeah, Depeche83 says, Reed wants to know when you're going to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's security breach. So good question. I did play a little bit of this with my nephew, Aiden. And so my adult brain says, this is terrible. I didn't like how it controls.
Oh, no.
You have these 2 modes. So I'm playing on PS5, right? And this is also on PC. It just doesn't run very well. Like it's super, the frame rates are weird. They're super laggy.
On the 3080?
I'm playing on PS5.
Oh, sorry.
I bought it so Aiden could also play. Yeah. So you have like a performance mode, a ray tracing mode. Ray tracing runs like 20 frames per second, but
does it look any better?
Sort of. But I knew that going in that there might be, some issues with performance or visual stuff. But I like the idea of, because I've never been a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, but all my nephews love it. And what I never dug about the gameplay was you're locked into that room. You can kind of switch between these cameras, and that's also how they keep the tension, because you could be looking at something, then you look back again, and then there's the robot tearing your head off or whatever. Yeah, that's cool. But I liked the idea with this new one is that you can run around as the kid moving around this pizza place, or it's like a amusement park kind of thing. So that is cool, but it is very weird the way you move around, the way you have to balance like batteries on some things. You can jump into an actual the main Freddy dude. You can jump into his suit, his metal suit, but he has this kind of battery limit. It's just doesn't run the way I want it to, or doesn't like feel the way I want it to when I'm playing it. It's definitely not like polished compared to the games we're playing.
Really? That is
Yeah,
surprising.
it's strange to me. I'd be interested to see if you actually play it on PC, what you think. But I'm also just not a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan. But I jumped in knowing my nephews dig it. My nephew Aiden is really super into it, although he's at this part that's like very, very hard. The AI is kind of weird where they just like, it's almost like an arcade game where it's made for you to just keep dying. It's kind of that vibe where it's like, it's hard to proceed. And knowing that it's like a kid game, it's like super hard to play. But they just like almost they're expecting you to throw quarters in there to still make money off the thing or something.
Right.
So it's just like you bought it, it's still hard to play. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of it, but I like the idea of running around and actually figuring stuff out and not just being locked into the room. But I didn't dig it, so I don't know if that helps Reed at all. But
would you rather be playing Spaghetti Slapper?
Spaghetti Slapper, I forget the name of that one or what that game was. But I think you're literally smacking something, right?
Yeah, you're smacking the spaghetti.
Okay.
You gotta keep it warm.
Sure, but we're talking about kids games and stuff, but like they don't have to be just a game where you click something. This isn't like WarioWare. I think there's still kids that dig what's going on with the
Is it
gameplay.
Actually a kids game though?
Well, I think it speaks to kids somehow. It's always been like that. They're the ones who keep creating the YouTube videos and loving the lore about it. But
I figured it was more like it had a big kid following because a lot of kids watch Markiplier.
It's possible, but I mean, my nephew Reed or cousin Reed, he loves the story involved with the Five Nights at Freddy's. So there's something they unlocked.
Have you looked into the lore?
Well, he talks my ear off about it, and I usually just tune him out. But
yeah,
it's crazy. It's weird. It's morbid, and that speaks to kids because it's like creepy and weird and interesting. And then people online will find a real like pizza place that's been condemned and go, oh, that's actually Five Nights at Freddy's, and then the whole like rabbit hole creates. But
I would watch the isn't there like a Five Nights at Freddy's knockoff with like Nicolas Cage?
There was one. Yeah, I forget what it's called. But my nephew also watched that and he dug it too. But yeah, there's a cool idea there. And this one I had higher hopes for, but it turned out to be what I expected it to be. It's just kind of a not very fun game, but the people are digging it apparently who love that franchise. But yeah, I don't know if Reed would be into it, but I think it's more playable than the other games or for younger kids. But But yeah, played a little bit of that. Gavin got some news on that Blizzard game. So Blizzard is Willy's Wonderland is that Nicolas Cage game.
Yes.
Thank you for reminding us. So Blizzard is hiring for an unannounced survival game set in a brand new universe from IGN. Blizzard has announced it is working on a new AAA survival game for PC and console set in a brand new universe, and Blizzard is hiring help to make it happen. And a new blog post announcing the job's openings. Blizzard says its new survival game will be a place full of heroes we have yet to meet, stories yet to be told, and adventures yet to be lived, a vast realm of possibility waiting to be explored. Whippity-doo. What do you think about this new Blizzard game?
That's nothing to go on. So
very early. Seems like they're still hiring for it. So it's like, we get this concept art. That's about it.
Yeah.
But at least some kind of survival game, AAA from Blizzard sounds like it could be cool.
Yeah.
But not much to go on. This actual like teaser art does seem more fantasy related.
Yeah.
With like a floating city in the background.
Have a doorway to a different.
Right.
That's cool.
Sort of Stranger Things kind of thing, maybe.
Could be good. Hopefully is good.
But yeah, that was announced today as well.
You think they're still gonna do BlizzCon?
I feel like they keep canceling it, right?
Yeah.
Or do like digital versions of it. I think at least this recent one they had canceled it.
Well, it'd be weird with all the stuff that is owned now by Microsoft because BlizzCon was its own thing, and then what was the thing for id? It had like not id Fest, but
is it not
DoomCon?
QuakeCon.
Yeah,
I feel like they'll still be able to do those things, and that maybe takes the pressure off Xbox with having to do the work with organizing these events. Right. So it lets them operate pretty much like autonomously, and they can do their own events. Yeah. Again, we got an update on Watch Dogs Legion. I pulled this up because we had talked about Watch Dogs.
No longer getting support.
Yeah. Well, I remember there was a time where we were super interested in Watch Dogs in the NPC tech. So I just want to bring this up as an update. Right. So we got Watch Dogs Legion will no longer be updated. This is from Eurogamer.com. Watch Dogs Legion will no longer be updated, Ubisoft has said, and the game's current multiplayer session or season will be its last. Ubisoft said the game's 5.6 patch released 4 months ago in September was actually its final update. The game's 5th and final multiplayer season, which began at the weekend, will now be followed by repeats of Season 3, 4, and 5 on a cycle until servers are eventually switched off. So maybe less shorter legs than previous Ubisoft games. Look at like Assassin's Creed. They keep pumping out DLC for it. But this game was on our radar just because of the NPC stuff. And then people kind of forgot about it.
Right. I'm also curious about, they mentioned it'll keep repeating the seasons until they turn off the servers. Does this game need servers?
Well, it is online. Like you can jump in people's games and play together. So yeah, I imagine you can still play locally once the servers are turned off.
Huh.
But yeah, so just going to keep, whenever those servers are turned off, just going to keep whatever content from those seasons going. And that's what the online player is.
Did you ever play this?
No. It wasn't enough for me because I like the idea of the NPC stuff, but watching reviews and whatnot, it didn't seem like it was that innovated enough to like bring me into this franchise. But on paper, when they were announcing it, how you could become any NPC and like recruit them into your group, cool idea.
Right.
But they've done that with the last couple Watch Dogs, where they would tie every NPC, you could scan their phone and see just like a bio of them.
Right.
It seemed like they were just kind of building on that and then letting you just play as them. It just wasn't enough for me.
Oh, maybe. Sorry. I thought that car randomly drove into the wall. I didn't realize
It could.
was hacking them all.
Oh, gotcha.
Just causing all these wrecks.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm always interested in these cooler like open world games that are especially like urban stuff. But yeah, it just wasn't enough for me to jump in there. I kind of knew what I was gonna get by watching the trailer and didn't scratch my itch. But
I think it's cool that someone tried it, and now we know.
Yeah, if you like really excelled off of this, that could be dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, just not enough for me. But yeah, that's a bummer for those fans that they expected more out of it.
Yeah. And now we'll have the same kind of thing of, we'll see how well it goes that they tried it this coming month with Dying Light. We'll figure out how much game is actually necessary in a game here.
True. You haven't got this new one pulled up here. This is from today.
Ooh, Vin Diesel?
Not quite. So we got the Rock is making another video game movie. This is from IGN. So in an interview, so Dwayne The Rock Johnson is working on another video game movie during an interview with Men's Journal.
Is he gonna play Dwayne The Rock Johnson again?
He should, but
he does play the exact same character in every single movie.
Often he wears the same like button down T-shirt that's like 3 buttons or whatever. He looks like the same dude.
Yeah,
but he's The Rock. He can do whatever he wants. So here's a quote. He talked with Men's Journal recently, the magazine. He says, quote, "I can't tell you which game in particular we're doing, but there will be an announcement this year," he said. "We're going to bring one of the biggest, most badass games to the screen, one that I played for years." So without any other information beyond that, what do you think this big video game movie could be?
One that he's played for years. I mean, if I were him, I'd be angling for Doom.
Now, he did that already.
I thought that was Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
What are you saying to me right now?
Am I Mandela affecting this one?
No, we're talking about The Rock.
Yeah.
He was in Doom.
Doom.
Yeah.
Look up Doom. Doom the movie.
Okay.
I think this is The Rock.
Yes. That's what I mean. I don't know what you're telling me.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I was thinking Vin Diesel was.
Are you having an aneurysm right now?
Who's making the movie? Dwayne The Rock Johnson or Vin Diesel?
Just The Rock. Just.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where you're getting Vin Diesel from. Just because his picture's here?
Yep.
Okay.
And yeah.
That's it. We're just talking about The Rock.
Oh, okay.
Vin Diesel's not a part of this. Okay.
All right. Yep.
But yeah, The Rock's
my brain crossed some wires there.
You gotta
get why you're looking at me like a crazy.
Yes. You gotta keep your Rock wire away from your Vin Diesel wire, Gavin. They gotta be separate.
Can't cross them.
Don't cross those wires. But yeah, The Rock is making another video game movie. That's his quote about the video game movie. That's all we know. What do you think that video game movie could be that he hasn't already done, like Doom? Now, he says it's a game he's been playing for years, or whatever that means. And it's the biggest, most badass game.
It's Madden.
Some people have posted that image on Twitter, yeah. Madden or Duke Nukem, which I highly doubt, but Duke Nukem maybe.
That would be so much fun.
Right. But if it's The Rock, he's got to be in it. He's a buff dude. He doesn't also have to play the main character, though. Like, he could just be in there. Like, he made those 2 movies with where they go into the game and they're running around Jungle Book. Jumanji. He's just a guy in the game, but it doesn't have to be where he's playing the dude.
I could see him being in like one of the musclehead guys in Saints Row.
Interesting.
That could be fun.
So it's been what, a franchise for years. He's played for years, and it's one of the biggest, most badass games. He also has a deal with Fortnite. He's voiced characters in Fortnite. They had some kind of newer season thing last year, so maybe a Fortnite movie.
Be him and Terry Crews just peck popping around in Crackdown the movie.
That could be dope. Yeah. Or I know they've tried to get a Gears of War movie off and running for years now. Do you think maybe Gears of War, if they're trying to tie into like somebody that looks like The Rock, would fit in that world? But then you have Batista.
You
Batista.
have to do Batista.
Yeah,
you cannot not do Batista for that role. You could have him. I mean, he could be any of the other meatheads.
Depeche 83 says, cut Gavin off. I think he's drinking. And we are drinking.
I was thoroughly in my head like, what are you talking about here?
What are you talking about?
Vin Diesel was not in Doom.
No, it would have been better, I think, if it was in there.
I thought you were Mandela affecting this one.
No.
Yeah.
I hate that Dune with The Rock in it. It's a terrible movie.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's bad. Megan loves it. I think she loves it more the fact that I hate it. But every couple of months, she's like, let's watch Dune.
Is it not so bad it's good?
No.
It's just so bad.
I mean, you got Carl Urban, you got The Rock, but that's The Rock back when he was like, he looks like he's never, eaten a hamburger in his life. He's just like the skinny.
Back when he was the Pebble?
Yeah, he's the Pebble. He's just like the skinny Rock that's like sort of buff, but now he's just super jacked and mutant. And I dig it. I'm all for it. But yeah, it's just like a different Rock. You have Carl Urban in it, and it's just wonky and weird. But there could be a cool Doom movie that could be made, but it just hasn't been done.
I'm playing it for years.
Yeah,
I hope the answer isn't Grand Theft Auto. It'd be so dumb.
No, I don't think it's that. I feel like it's still something sort of family friendly. I feel like he makes these movies that are trying to get as many people into the screen or to the theaters as possible. So it's something that's at least PG-13. But Fortnite can be good, good fit.
Bully. He's gonna play a child.
Now it's gonna be it's a Rock. It's gotta be a well-known property. Although he did make that one Rampage movie. And that's an arcade game from the 80s and 90s.
Completely forgot that existed.
That's all right.
Successfully removed that memory from my head.
It's okay. It's just a thing. But yeah, people are wondering what that movie's going to be from The Rock.
Streets of Rage. He can be the guy that's like 90%.
You keep going older
torso.
We got to go more recent, Gavin, for it's going to be likely.
Street Fighter.
All right, Gavin, got some more nerdy video game news here. We got just an update. So it's now been 3 years since Metroid Prime 4's development was scrapped and restarted.
Wow.
It's from NintendoLife.com. Yes, Metroid Prime 4 is still sadly nowhere to be seen following several years of development. Today marks the 3rd anniversary of Nintendo's announcement presented by Shinya Takahashi. They revealed the game's progress would be completely scrapped and restarted. Of course, that game was initially announced even earlier than that, back in June 2017. So now at least they started from scratch 3 years ago. Where do you think they could be at this point with this development?
I mean, if they were a normal studio, fairly close to done. Nintendo, Lord knows.
But if they're still like doing pre-production or like figuring out what concepts they want to work with, maybe that's a good 1 to 2 years of just like figuring out what this game would be.
Yeah.
And then working on tech. But I think they're going to take their sweet ass time with it, which is fine. This is a huge property, but maybe in a year, I would say maybe 2 years from now, we get closer to that release and maybe see some footage.
I could see that.
I like how they did Dread, where it was like they showed it off and then months later it's out.
I actually saw an interesting article today about like the director of Dread was because they've been getting so many complaints about the difficulty. And they're like, guys, it's like I thought it would be obvious because we named it Metroid Dread that it was going to be pretty hard.
Not Metroid Light.
And he said like we tested it pretty hard, so we thought we'd scaled it back because obviously when it was just them, they're playing it all the time. It was super duper hard. They got in play testers. They scaled it back. Apparently, not far enough for a lot of people. So I don't know. I found that interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Now there are rumors of like stuff coming out on the next Switch iteration. So with like the next Mario Kart. So if that's going to be the case, then I'd say whatever this is for Metroid Prime is not coming out.
I think it's pushed to the Switch too.
Absolutely.
It's very possible. That's a good point. Yeah, I love the 3D Metroid, so I want them to get back to that. And 2D stuff does look cool. I do want to play Dread, but this is more up my alley. Yeah. So we'll see. 3 years ago, they actually scrapped everything and started working on it again.
That's insane to me.
So we'll see. Gavin, this is a cool video. A German physicist makes GTA 5 playable on Game Boy using streaming. So here's a video here.
No, 100%.
Well, I'm showing you it's possible. Now it's because of streaming. So I'm gonna play some audio here.
Even with that, that's insane. Like, how much did he? Okay, there we go. All right, now
I told
I'm
you it
on
was
board.
streaming.
That's still nuts.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is still insane.
So he has this proprietary like custom chip here, cartridge that sends the data wirelessly.
Oh, why is the frame rate so low? That is surprising.
It's on a fucking Game Boy. That's
yeah,
why,
but
Gavin.
it's not like it's processing anything.
That's true. I guess it depends on maybe his Wi-Fi or his hotspot isn't very good.
Is this all the footage we have?
No. So I just restarted it, but
Oh, okay.
he goes into detail. So here's some of the. I mean, it's playable, but it's like you can't see what the hell's going on.
What buttons did he even assign?
That's very true. He's got 2 buttons and he can move around. But I like the idea of this cartridge that will just wirelessly send stuff.
Yeah.
So you could just like watch Netflix on your Game Boy.
There you go. What you've always wanted to do. I'm kind of honestly surprised it looks as bad as it does. Just because, I mean, it's got 3 colors plus.
Yeah, but that's it though, right?
Yeah, plus white.
Yeah, it looks bad.
So you think you'd turn up the contrast a little more?
Maybe you could, yeah. And really, it's cool that it can happen on a Game Boy. But like, if you go to the Game Boy Advance, then we're talking. You got some colors. You can kind of make it actually look like the game. But it's more of like a concept thing that shows that this is possible.
He is breaking down the math.
Yeah, this is super duper nerdy, and I just like that he's tried this. But yeah, he's looking at YouTube too. So stream anything.
Oh,
It looks like garbage. You got to watch. Is it the Russian or the Italian? What's that one movie from Martin Scorsese?
Oh,
because you got to watch this in theaters. People are like, "Cool, bet." They're watching on their phone, on their Nokia Engage.
Yeah, and a lot of people were actually like doing it. Weren't they?
Yeah. Just to piss them off or whatever. Stuff he'll never see. But I just thought this was pretty neat.
We're not seeing very much for all this. We're not seeing very much Grand Theft Auto 5 being played on this Game Boy.
It's very short. Yeah, it's like this beginning here, and it looks pretty bad.
Oh,
but it's
contrast
possible.
is terrible.
Give him a break, Gavin. It's a Game Boy original. This is the one that was nuked in Vietnam or whatever. No, it's a Desert Storm.
Well, I would have thought all that stuff is pre-processed before it's even sent.
I don't know.
That's insane though.
Pretty nuts. People doing crazy stuff. Gavin, that's it for this week. All I got for you.
That was a lot of news.
A lot of news.
It's been 2 weeks, hasn't it?
Nope, we were here last week. Last Monday.
Having another stroke. Where's
it
Vin
was
Diesel?
You, me, Vin Diesel, and The Rock. All right, Gavin, we'll end it there for the week. Where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at DrunkDevs.
Awesome. And you keep up with the show as well on Twitter at PlasticBoi. That's it for us this week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.